Hey, Arch324, this is the second video to respond to the request that I show you how to make a topo model that you can bring into in SketchUp that you can bring into Rhino very easily. Now, the other video I'd made in the past, and it's pretty detailed, which is great. I hopefully, in the same thing with this one, scroll through it if you're like, I know this stuff, I don't need to do this. I'm trying to make it so that somebody who was a beginner at SketchUp could do this. That's a little difficult because there's some, like any program, you have to have some basic skills, and if you don't have them, it'll be very frustrating. Um, and we'll talk about if you're making your own model, I don't want you to be too stressed about it. We can be flexible in terms of if it's not ready this week, which I doubt it will be since this is a Tuesday that I'm doing this. I want to make one point here. The most basic technique in SketchUp that you need to understand. And you need to get to know these basic tools over here. There's lots of keyboard shortcuts that are really helpful to use. Anyway, if I'm going to make a rectangle, let's say, and I want to make a little building by just pushing up on it, P is the shortcut for push. Now I've got this little building that I could bring in as context. I'm typically going to want to group that. So I select everything. So I'm right-clicking or left-clicking and making a box from left to right. The reason I go left to right is because it will only select the lines that I completely select. So if it's in the middle of something else, it's an easy way of selecting it. If I go to the right, it'll select everything that it touches. From right to left, I mean. Anyway, just play with it. If I right-click and make a group, now this thing's a unit. I've unclicked it. So by the way, M is the shortcut for move, very helpful tool. I can move it around, no problem. If I ungroup it, explode is what you call it in SketchUp, and I decide I want to move it. I can move it if everything's selected, but as soon as if I select one line, I'm going to move that line, which is great. But let's say now I draw another something on this surface. Now it's part of this group, and so I can't just I can't separate it now. So if that was a window, for example, or some other feature, and I wanted to have walls and a window, these are all together, and it's really difficult to separate them. And so if I move this line, it's going to be part of this. And even if I come up here, now it's going to it's going to start stretching. It's like it's contorting around. You may want that. And now we've gotten rid of this face. Anyway, so in the simple things we're doing, whatever you make that you want to keep as a unit, just make sure that you select it all, right click, and make a group. Okay. So here's the model from the first video, right? By the way, if you hold on the trackball and you can orbit. I want to show you a couple other things about this that are helpful. I'm going to go to an overhead view and just draw a rectangle here. It's larger than the full site. Now I'm going to come out here and select. Again, I'm going left to right. I'm selecting everything that I touched. I didn't get that line out there, so I just went over there and hit Control and selected that line. I'm going to right click and make that a group. Now I've got this surface. I'm going to hit M and the Control key. Just touch the Control key. Now you see I have a little plus down there. What I'm doing now when I move this down, I'm going to go down. I'm going to hold the arrow key to go straight down. See, there's a bunch of little things here that I may have said in the other video. I don't know. Some of them aren't that important. Others are. Anyway, I just moved that down. I'm going to type in 5 apostrophe for 5 feet. Now that's 5 feet below the one before it. And I'm going to now type in 30x. And I just made up 30. Hopefully that will be enough. And hit enter. And now I've copied what I just did 30 times. So that will take you a little time to get right, and you've got to do it exactly that way. You can do some Google searches. It's the thing you want to copy. You select it and hit M for move. Then you move it wherever you want to move it. I did it I wanted to go straight down, so I held the arrow key because you can use the arrow keys to move things on the cardinal axes in SketchUp. I moved it down 5 feet by typing in 5 apostrophe, and that actually showed up down here in this box, by the way. Oops. Um, and then once I saw that I had moved that 5 feet, then I typed in, without doing anything else, I typed in 30x and that made 30 copies of that same move. Okay, now I'm going to hit the space bar so I can just select. I'm going to select all of these surfaces that I just made, and I'm going to come up here to edit. I think is where it is. I don't do this very often. No, I think I'm just going to right click is what I do. Yeah, right click and go to Intersect Faces with Model. So I'm right clicking on the stuff that I selected, Intersect Faces with Model, and may not look like anything's happened. Oh, but okay, so it's still doing it. Then what I'm going to do, what I'm doing here, by the way, why did I do this? I'm cutting contour lines through our model. So if I now select these, I'm making sure I'm not selecting the model inside there. And if I did, I would see that this stuff had that surface there. If you do, just Control Z back. If you delete things you don't want to delete, I'm now deleting those surfaces, and you see now I have contour lines. So it's a very easy way of doing it. I may have really wanted to do that later, like earlier, before I had built these plinths. So I'd have to come in here and edit these to get rid of them. You wouldn't probably want those in a model, but we can perfect it more later. If we go to our Layers tab and turn off Site, we had this from a previous video. Now here are all our contour lines. I'm going to go ahead and select those, right click and group them. I'm going to come over here and create a new layer. I'm going to call it contour. And now this way, if I keep doing stuff and I have my contour lines on, I won't be messing. They won't, if I draw something on the site, it's not going to connect with those contour lines. But if I want to edit those contour lines, I actually can turn off everything else. I could come in here, and I would if I was making this a real thing, and select some of these lines, delete them, because you probably wouldn't want lines on the side like this. I could come to uh, a view that made sense. Let me do another one. Maybe come over here to camera parallel so that you can see very clearly the lines. And, I could start selecting with whatever method I wanted to and deleting out some lines, whatever. That's not important right now. Oh, see, I screwed it up right there. You don't want to go to the top. I went too high. All right, so here's our contour lines. I'm going to turn back on our location, terrain, and context buildings. And I'm going to go and change this to a perspective just because I like looking at it that way. What else do we want to do here? Well, because we've already done the context buildings and these little plinths in the other video. I just showed you how to do contour lines. We might want to actually add these roads in, or you might want to add in your own roads. How would I do something like that? Okay, I'm going to turn off context buildings, contour lines, and just turn on my snapshot. If you don't know what that is, you'll have to see it from the previous. There was a contour line. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to turn this off. There's a contour line that's above. Oh, it's just because I should be able to move my snapshot. It's locked if I right click it. Probably don't even really need to worry about this right now. The snapshot is not geolocated. I mean, it's not really geolocated, so it doesn't matter. If I unlock it, I should be able to move it up. I just selected M on my keyboard. I'm holding down the top arrow key and just moving it up a little bit. Now it's above those contour lines. I'm gonna turn off my oh, you know what? I hadn't selected the contours, which is another reason why we saw it. Um, so I am now, okay, so I selected my contour lines that's grouped. I'm going to come over here. I select the contour layer, and then I go up to this icon, and I move it to that layer. That I'm sure was covered on the other video. I'm going to turn it off. So now I've got just my snapshot of my site. I'm going to go to the top view of it. And make sure it's probably a good idea to be in parallel for this. So I'm going to do this really rough. I'm going to come over here to a spline. That's that. And I'm just going to make a first line. Completely. You know what? That's too bad. I'm not going to use that one. It's always hard for me to draw with a mouse. Stop it. Hit spacebar, you get out of that weirdness. Spacebar takes you back to the pointer tool. Let me see if I can be a little bit more careful about this. Don't want to be. And you could also do this with just straight lines, which maybe I'll just do. Right? I could just approximate this like this. If you zoom in, you can have more control because that was trying to lock in a 45-degree angle. At this, you may want to be more accurate or less accurate, whatever. Come over here. Now I'm going to, just to simplify this, was what I was going to do with this spline is I'm going to select that. Actually, I'll turn off my snapshot so I can easily, turn off. Why are those contours still there? I did not put them on that layer somehow. Now they're there. Now I'm going to select this line and let me go back to my, and I'm going to do an offset, which is over here. Let me turn on my terrain again so I know where I'm going. Yeah, so I'm going to hit the offset key, select that. Oops, sorry. Hit offset, and I can offset it some amount. I'm not even going to worry about how much. It won't be completely accurate, but that's probably close. And then if I close it off, I could close it off later. I'm not trying to be really exact here. Now I've got a surface. It doesn't matter if it's a surface because really all I'm doing is I'm going to take, well, actually we do need to close it to make it a surface, sorry. Now I'm going to turn back on my terrain, and I'm going to, so in the last video we did this stamp tool right here up in the sandbox, the set. Remember, if we click over here, we can see the names of tools. The sandbox set are these. We stamped these little plinths in with the buildings, right? And now I'm going to use, I'm just going to drape, is what this is called. I'm going to drape these shapes, the shape of this road onto the site. So I'm going to select, oh, I think I have to group it. Let me turn this off then. See, again, I'm not being, do what I say, not what I do. Turn on my terrain. I'm going to select this. I'm going to drape it on the site. I didn't hit drape, I hit. Oh, that was the wrong one. So this is a stamp, this is the drape. Okay, so I'm selecting this, I'm draping it onto the site. And so now I'm actually just going to delete this road. So now you see we have that draped onto the contour. So in other words, the foundation thing we did before is creating a plinth that's pulling up a flat plane from the surface. And this draping thing is actually just putting the road or a set of lines onto the contour. So now I can come in and come over here to my materials, and if I just have to kind of go. What I did is I was just double clicking until I got to that actual surface. I want to make a color. Let's make it a pretty, uninteresting color, but at least it'll be clear that so that's our road. Again, I'm using materials on the side. There's lots of materials you can apply in SketchUp. You wouldn't need to do this if you're bringing it into Rhino, I'm realizing, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to change the perspective because I like looking at it that way. So we've got context buildings, we've got roads. We could do the same thing with the water down here. What else? How about let's put, in my model I share with you guys, I had some trees. So let's just turn on the snapshot again. Come to the top view, make sure I'm in parallel projection. The way I do trees, trees are a big debate in architecture school, whatever. I'm just talking about how I do it. I'm making some overlapping circles that approximate the trees on the site. I'm going to come in and edit that. So I'm going to delete any of the lines that are in the void or that prevent this from being a single surface. I'm going to turn off my snapshot now. So now I have this surface. If I select it, hit P, I'm going to push it up like 2 feet, some small amount. Or I could do more. I'm going to add 3 more feet to it, whatever. And again, how did I do that? I just hit P. That initiates the push tool, which is this one over here. So you can just go over and click that, pull up, push or pull it, and then the amount, as you start pulling in a direction, if you stop and then type in whatever, if you just want to do inches, the default is so you could type in 60, that'd be 5 feet, sorry, or if you type in 5 apostrophe, that's 5 feet. Okay, now I'm going to make this, I'm going to group it. Now I have this group. If I want to be cheesy about it, I can come in here and I can add color for tree. And then if I bring back my terrain, I can determine how far I want it to be above the terrain. So maybe I come over here to side view, hit M. I'm holding the up arrow so I can go straight up and down. You see how when I'm pulling on this now, I'm just pulling my mouse down. It says I'm on the blue axis, so that you can be very confident of that. So if I kind of come down to the bottom, close to what it seems like it's the surface, I'm not going to be exact here, and then do it again. Go. Let's say I think the top, the canopy of these trees is at 20 feet. I'll put 20 feet in, and it moved up to 20 feet. So now I have trees, I have buildings, and I have roads. Oh, and I have a contour. Um, that's a decent site map, and if you or context site, and if you do that, if you get you spend a little time on this skill, you can do these very quickly. We can also in this world we can go ahead and do. Let me adjust this. If I can do that quickly enough. Yeah. So I can do solar studies here also. So I think I set one up last time I was messing with this. It's not really set up correctly. So let me fix that again here. I didn't update it, so I'm updating. So you don't know how to do scenes. It doesn't matter. I just thought I'd show you this since these were in this model. Uh, so let me just run through this again with these updated. Sorry. Okay, so now I can do what we were doing in Rhino, and I can just select. I can move the sun from. So let's go back to it. So this is what day? What day of the year? Looks like we're at the winter solstice, December 21st. I could open it up and see exactly. Yeah, right here. It's December 22nd, 9 a.m. Then December 22nd at 12 p.m. December 22nd at 3 p.m. So that's exactly what we did in Rhino, right? Okay. So that's basically our context model. Let's see. Now I should. Yeah. Hold on a sec. All right. I'm just trying. Okay, it is moving forward. Hopefully that was all right. Anyway, hopefully this works. I just went and checked to make sure that I had Rhino on this computer functioning. Okay, and I think I didn't. Let's see. What have I not done? I need to put. Let's make a layer for trees. Now, the layer thing. I've only done this a few times in Rhino, and bring it's very. It doesn't work. The layers don't stay there, but sometimes they work better than others. It seems like to me. So that's not a very good explanation. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do my best and see what happens here. So that's going to go on this layer. I'm going to turn off every layer individually so we see what we've got. Context buildings, location terrain. Yep. Um, so do your best to plan. And I think what I'll do, no, I'll just leave that in there. We'll see what happens. Um, just so plan it out as best you can because you don't want to do a lot of editing of the site in Rhino. That's the whole point of this, correct? Okay, so I'd actually save this as SketchUpToRhino before. I'm going to save it again, or just update the saving. I'm going to go to Rhino. Oh, here's another example I had opened up. You could, there's a lot of different little. But basically, the point here is you can do this on a pretty flat site also with the contours. Works fine. I mean, it's still useful to have contours. So I'm going to go to Rhino, go to File, and Import. You could do import from file. I don't know the difference there. I don't think it makes any difference. Here I am on my desktop. But I'm going to import let me see what option says. It's the same stuff that we're going to see in a second. I'm going to open it. So you should play with these inputs. I'm just going to leave it on mesh. I think this works as well as anything. I've tried a couple of things, but it seems fine. Maybe there's some way that we can bring in to the layers better if we, change some of those settings. I have no idea at this point. But here's our model. That was pretty easy, right? Unfortunately, so we're not. So these are the layers that just come in. I had to open a new file before I tried to, before I brought this in, because this is a blank file. Right, so here are our layers, but everything came in on layer 0. So we could at least start clicking. Let's see what we got. If I select this, okay, that's my contour, or no, that's my, let me see, what do I got? What do we call these? Oh, that's the terrain. Okay, so we're calling that the, I see. So it's calling that layer 0 in terrain, and this is the group. Very interesting. Let's leave that there. So now if I turn this on and off, that's going to get rid of everything, but it definitely has the terrain. So if I come in here, I'm going to just for now I'm just going to delete that surface. We don't need it. That was a snapshot. Here's a context building. So if I right click on that and say change object layer, it disappeared because I've got that layer off. Here's another context building. Oops, I'm not sure what's up with that. Why are you saying save? Just pressing the wrong button. Change object layer. Same thing here. So we have our context building search turned off. Our tree, we can put in tree. Etc. So there's our. Sometimes switching from SketchUp to Rhino is difficult for me because the mouse settings are different. This stuff you see in the bottom is actually in the model because of the way it was cut through. I wasn't careful about that. I could have come and got rid of those. And if they're confusing, we can get rid of them. We could put color in the. Let's see what happens when we go to a shaded view. Yeah, if we'd have put color in SketchUp, I think it would have come through here. Let's see if it does. And we have the tree on. Yeah. So you could do more in SketchUp. We can edit some things here if we want to, but we have the basic site that we built in SketchUp. All right, I think that's plenty. Probably a little too long, but you can scroll through hopefully. And I hope this helps. Let me know if there's questions.